Umbilical Cord, really entrancing organic flow of movement and exploration, using and maximizing the space, the natural elements, and that entwined synchronicity between the two to really tell the story and send forth that concept of the umbilical cord and the connections we have to not just our mothers, but to others throughout our life. Loved the use of color as the yin and the yang element, and the very inventive framing to capture that relationship and movement. I also thought the upside down section was particularly striking. I loved that.
This film is called Umbilical Cord. This was a fabulous dance piece. Two young dancers moved together so beautifully. I love the use of the red scarf and face makeup, giving us the feel of an umbilical cord. Another striking image was the two of them tied up with the red wool, as if in the birthing process. The soulful synth music and choreography were just gorgeous, and the cinematography was stunning. Lots of fades and close-ups, and even upside-down bodies, which ties in well with the theme of the piece. Great job, Umbilical Cord. Check it out.
Umbilical Cord, a very powerful movie. We see from the beginning, we understand how powerful it is when they have, when the two dancer, one of the two dancers is tying this sort of scarf around the neck of the other dancer, symbolizing both the umbilical cord but also the violence. It reminds me a lot of violence over women, and the way she pulls it very strongly is a symbolism used in the movie that is very powerful and gives a strong start to the film. And then we have this beautiful coordinated dance with an excellent direction and even better cinematography until the final climax. I thought it was well directed. It had a lot of meaning, implicit meaning, as said. And overall, it was obviously a fantastic performance of the dancers. So very well done, short. Congratulations.
Umbilical cord. I like the sort of metaphorical use of the red scarf and the umbilical cord that binds these sort of two people together, and that and in their dance they do sort of dance in sync and live sort of in sync. So I like that how that metaphor played out throughout. I also like the use of this sort of contemporary dance, and again, not using dialogue, which is always great. But then using the sort of dancing as a way to communicate, sort of the relationship between the two people, and yeah, that's what I got from the film.
So I just got done watching the film Umbilical Cord. I like this film. I had a good time watching it. I would say this film is abstract. It's kind of surreal. It's expressionistic. It's almost psychedelic. Um, I thought it was extremely expressive, through its use of movement. This is a dance sort of movement piece. It's also extremely expressive through its very precise use of color and the camera as well. I thought there was some really creative camera work here, in the shots and in the framing. This film to me felt very melancholic and introspective, just in its tone and its music. Yeah, I thought this was a very thoughtful and moving piece, and I enjoyed watching it.
Umbilical Cord brings its titular idea to life in a really interesting way. I mean, the use of the red scarves, but also like some red string, lots of red imagery, to connect one person to another. I think is a really elegant way, to evoke the umbilical cord. Um, and the choreography itself suggests ideas of like physical connection in a number of ways. Like you have synchronous movement, you have mirrored movement, lots of stuff like that, which I thought was really rich choreography. And there's a great shot where like one dancer is hidden behind the other, and you don't realise that she's there until the camera moves. Like that kind of doubling, I think, really seems to encapsulate the themes of the film like in a single image, which I think was really neat. And then at the end, when she takes the red scarf off, she kind of stands on her own. I think it's a really genuinely emotional and cinematic and visual way to ram home, those feelings of connection or loss of connection, which I thought was just Really cool.
All right, I just finished watching Umbilical Cord, which I thought was a very beautiful and meditative piece that played out with performance art dancing. I thought that it really did match the themes of the piece and really create a sense of mood and sort of very ethereal, spiritual energy that was easy to match with the big picture idea of what an umbilical cord might normally mean and how it might normally be understood within culture. I thought so many of the settings were shot so well. There was a lot of interesting cinematography choices in terms of the construction of the dance pieces and how you perceive the images on the screen. I thought it contributed to creating a very interesting experience that was both contained and sort of clear and foundational, while also leaving room to be interpreted to the viewer itself in terms of how you take in the performances and how you perceive the energy of the performances. So I thought it was very well done and quite memorable because of how beautiful and lovely the performances by the lead dancers were in particular. So it was an enjoyable piece for me.